What's up, guys? Action activate. Pow, pow.
What's going on? I am Gazbot, this is Action Activate, and with me as always...
Big Dawg Defender.
That's right, the Big Dawg Defender here to bring you all the Power Rangers action and activating it through our conversations with our mouths. We're going to talk about episodes specifically of Beast Morphers Season 2, Episode 5, which aired Saturday today, this week. Big Dawg, what's going on?
Yes. Not much, man. Definitely watched this episode and excited to go over it and jump into our news at a later time.
Definitely watched this episode. That's not is that code or
it's like we'll jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Initial thoughts, Gazbot. What do you think?
I thought it was a filler episode. It was a good filler episode. I realized they introduced the power up, but other than that, it was a filler episode in terms of the bigger story and stuff. Overall I liked it.
I agree that it was filler where it didn't kind of move forward the overarching plot of the season.
Right.
There are parts of it I liked. There are parts of it I didn't like as much. And overall, I thought it was fine.
Fine or fun?
Mostly fine, partially fun.
I would say it's fine and fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna end up liking this episode more than you.
Probably.
What I'll say is, obviously we're about to go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
But I'm sure once we start talking about this will change. But I basically have no complaints. That doesn't mean I think it's the best episode ever and like everything was super perfect. But like there was kind of nothing wrong with it. There were no parts that made me cringe. There was no terrible writing. There was no bad, ooh, somebody's being a jerk for no reason. And so that baseline, like that gets it a B in my book. If I have like no complaints, like it gets a B. I'm not saying that's where I ended, but that's where that's my start of like, oh, I have no complaints. So, that's where I'm looking at
it. The way I can kind of tell my feelings about this episode all at once and hopefully
tell your feelings
goes to you and the audience is this felt like a Neo Saban episode. It didn't feel like a Hasbro episode.
I could see why you say that, but if it was Neo Saban, it was Dino Charge or, well, I was going to say Samurai because I like Samurai, but not other people. It was Dino Charge.
It was in the top half of a Ninja Steel episode or like a Samurai episode. If like you shoehorned it into those seasons, I'd go, this is an above average episode for those.
Wow. See, whereas I was pulling Dino Charge saying it's a good Neo Saban episode.
No, because Dino Charge, whenever I think of Neo Saban, Dino Charge is in its own category.
No, Dino Charge is just the best Neo Saban season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, no, I feel like from what I've seen from the other seasons in Neo Saban, it's in its own category because the way that they get power-ups is different. The way the plot is different. Obviously, the amount of range is different. Like, I put it in its own category, and the other seasons I put a lot more closer.
I could see why you... Well, I understand why you're putting it in a separate category, but you just were like, they get power-ups differently. Everything's different. Every season's different. That's a weird way to, like, put it. It's more the quality that sets it apart, most people would say.
The other Neo Saban seasons, in my opinion, are more cookie cutter, and Dino Charge is one that is less cookie cutter than prior seasons. Or later seasons, as the case may be. I literally said before the show, I'm like, we can get this in 45 minutes. We haven't even started
I didn't think you were going to come out with this. No, because I got to say what I want to say, and then we'll move on. Like, I'm not trying to defend Neo Saban as being this great golden age, but they are all distinctly different. Megaforce arguably is kind of cookie cutter because it's very much like the early seasons of Mighty Morphin. But Samurai, they're like in a samurai school, sequestered away, and the Nilox are invading, and blah blah. And then Ninja Steel, there's like a game show in outer space. And like they're all very different regardless of quality or personal taste, you can't say they were all the same basic
Their
format.
backgrounds are different and their main goals are similar.
No. Well, in the sense that they're defending the world from an evil force, which is what every single season's about. Your premise was that you were setting Dino Charge apart from the rest because
Yes.
they got their power-ups differently and their enemies were different and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying it should be set apart because of the quality. And most people would agree it is the highest quality Neo Saban season for whatever reason.
I agree, yes.
But the fact that it's different is because of the quality, not because they have Dino Chargers instead of Beast Morphers.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it'll make sense when we go over it in the episode.
Okay.
Like we'll pause
right.
this.
Okay.
Potentially argue more
You're
at
right.
the end.
We're 6 minutes in. Let's begin.
Let's go.
All right. So it's called Crusin for a Brusin, and immediately we see
Great
the
name.
Beast Bots. Yeah, it is. Which is funny because we were just talking about how like we barely see the Beast Bots anymore. So I was like, oh, they heard us. Here we go.
Yep.
And they're starting off with target practice, which is
What
great.
wins every fight? Guns. What
Yes.
do we gotta do? Get better with guns.
There you go. And they decide to make a bet that whoever does the worst has to buy everyone a smoothie. And then Steel's like, well, I'm going to win. But wait, I can't even drink a smoothie.
Oh, I know.
Steel's
was great.
Yep.
I loved that everybody was like friendly, competitive, and even
Yes.
Ravi was like, "Oh, I don't have my wallet, but I don't need it."
Yeah.
Like I was cool with how everybody acted in that scene. That was
Me
good.
too. All friendly but competitive. And then they bring out this faster. Let them do target practice, and they all ace the first round. Then they bring out a moving target, and none of them could hit it. And they're like, "Cruz, come on, did you even test this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And seeing Cruz pick up that gun, by the way, was a little weird. I'm like, whoa, he's got the gun? Oh, okay. Like, and it shouldn't be, but he's just such a goofy character. Like, it threw me off for a second. And then he nails it first shot, and they're like, wow. And he's like, see, I tested it, kind of not realizing how good a shot he is. And Steel couldn't hit it either, and Steel's part robot, so that really says something about Cruz. I have no problem with any of this.
I didn't either. I thought all of it was good. The problem I had starts right now.
Okay, where they're all gushing over what a good shot he is, and then Devin's like, wow, it'd be awesome to have you out in the field. More firepower. That's not a bad idea. You should be out there with us. You have a problem with that.
And this is something, obviously, this is way too nitpicky, and I acknowledge that. But it's like, we haven't seen the Beast Bots nearly enough. The reason we're seeing the Beast Bots is they're like, you know what? We could really use you using guns with us. That's the reason we want you to be here.
Well, that's true. I agree with you, but again, that doesn't. It's one of those things that you have to forgive. Well, I know. Forgive. It's the same way. Oh, we're fighting an ice monster. The same episode, we happen to get our new heat ray, or things like that always happens. So you're right, but it's a trope of Power Rangers and Sentai.
I know. That's why, like, I'm not like, this is why I hated it. I'm just like,
okay.
It's unfortunate that it's not acknowledged.
Okay, but so he's fair. But he says, why don't you come out with us? And everyone else is kind of hesitant. It's like, Beast Bots aren't really made for that. And Cruz is kind of a goofball. And Nate's like, and Devin's like, I'll keep an eye on him. I'll take care of him. And Nate's like, okay, fine, but he needs to get combat training. And I think this is good because it's not crazy that Devin wants to use his robot that's a good shot in battle, but everyone else is a little cautious. And Nate's like, give him combat training. So I think everybody acted appropriately here.
Yep.
Okay.
That part I thought was good. I thought Nate putting a precedent about, like, I'll be cool with this if X happens.
Yeah.
Then it's like, fine. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Totally good.
Now, we cut to Ben and Betty. This is one of the best Ben and Betty gags we've seen, I think.
Yep. I had no problem with the Ben and Betty.
All right.
Every episode, I'm just like, okay, I don't hate it. Like, I'm literally crossing my fingers when they show up. I'm like,
it made sense.
Okay.
They were actually borderline heroic because they're like, Atronic, let's get it, and they were being dopey, but in the service of, like, protecting the base. We get some good face acting. They get dragged around, and then they're like, oh, let's maybe turn this Tronic into a servant that'll do our job for us. Because once again, they were mopping because we don't know what their job is anymore, which is a whole other. That's kind of a running joke at this point. Like, I want to see what new job they're going to be doing every season. But yeah, that gag worked perfectly fine. It fit in character. It made them look like good characters that were just kind of dopey. Like, all works fine. And nothing.
I need a quick one shot about Ben and Betty.
Okay, let me boom, go for it.
So, if you guys have watched other episodes of us reviewing, you know that I have a lot of love for Ben and Betty. I think they're totally underappreciated. I think they're underutilized. I think they're more capable and powerful and intellectual than everybody gives them credit for.
Agreed.
And this scene, if you look at it again, kind of gives credence to that, where they see the Tronic come through. They're like, oh my gosh, we got to protect the base. Don't think about themselves. Instantly are trying to do something.
Right.
Out of nowhere, Ben makes a lasso, which I
Yeah.
think is super MacGyver and resourceful.
And he lands his shot.
That part was great.
Yeah.
Them being drugged around kind of goofy. Yes. So I was thinking really hard of an analogy of what I could think of for Ben and Betty versus like Bulk and Skull and other characters that we've had in the past that are
Right.
like the comic relief of the season. And I really think it's similar to the DC hero Shazam. Now, Shazam on paper should be more powerful than Superman, but what's holding him back is that he's a 12-year-old boy that just doesn't know certain things and is very inexperienced and isn't well trained or honed their skills. Same with Ben and Betty.
Training.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ben and Betty, I think, are totally capable. They have a lot of natural talent, but because they're just kind of put in these random scenarios to help around the base, they can't really reach their full potential. And I think they could theoretically write this where they would be Rangers, and I'd be totally fine with it.
Agreed, and we've said that sort of thing many times. Like, even if it's the last episode or something, like, throw us a freaking ball.
Give them a badge.
Yeah.
We don't need to see them morph. Just acknowledge that it happens.
They're on the team, yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Moving on.
So we cut to the evil pointy dimension of cyber points, and Evox is away pretending to be human, so Scrozzle has created a new monster, which I wrote the name of
Digitron.
Oh, is it Digitron? I put Digitron.
Yes.
Okay, Digitron.
No, Digitron, because everything is a Tron.
Okay.
Gigatron, Robotron.
That's a Ninja Steel point for you.
Thank you, Ninja Steel.
Yeah, I like the design of this guy. I think he's cool.
I don't understand what the design is. I like it aesthetically, but I don't understand the like trope that they're going for.
I'm not sure either, except the middle of it looks like an old-fashioned egg timer, like sand of an hourglass thing. So I feel like that's filling up with his technology. I don't know if that's a thing where in Japan there was if that meant more there.
That was the thing that I wasn't sure on, but I did think he looks cool. And that part was really good. Yeah. And then once we get him unleashed and they go out there, obviously Devin brings in Cruz.
Well, I think you're jumping ahead a little bit.
Oh, I'm too far. Sorry, I was going off my notes, not
because we cut back to the lab when Nate gives him the wheel blasters.
Oh yeah, those things are so cool, man.
They are cool, and it makes the figure make a little more sense because the figure.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, if it goes deep enough, I might get it just for those.
Right. Yeah. I have to look at the figure because I don't think it looks perfectly like that, but it was definitely like his exhaust pipe is the gun.
Very close.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And he goes, "Wow, these are the nicest wheels I've ever had," which I thought was a fun. Like, Cruz had a lot of fun moments in this one.
Yeah.
And then Nate and then they get the call, and Devin's like, "Come on, let's go." And Nate's like, "Whoa, he didn't, get the training." And Devin's like, "I believe in him. He'll be all right." And Nate's like, "All right, I voiced my opinion. You're the leader. He's your Beastbot. What can I do?" But again, Nate appropriately saying he needs training, and Devin saying, "I'll look out for him." So like, no problem with that. Now we cut to Digitron out there blasting laptops and things in the field, and you were gonna say,
obviously Devin kind of shooting from the hip and just being, everything's gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Right. Before we even go beyond this, it's like something bad's gonna happen. Well, I just can't tell what.
You're absolutely right. I felt the same thing, but it also bothered me because it's like, oh, well, he's Digitron. He sucks up technology. They're bringing the Beastbots. This is gonna be a problem. Is Steel in trouble? But I thought they wouldn't know. But they get there and they see him sucking up technology, and they're like, oh, he sucks up technology. Let's get him. And it's like, whoa, you've got 2 robots with you. Maybe they could hang back and the other, the 5 of you could talk. But no, it's morphin' time.
The classic puns were good. He's eating it like it's lunch. Well, let's not get him dessert. Dessert?
Yeah. That's true. I also like when they all it's morphin' time, unleash the beast, and then Cruz is there with him. And he's like, unleash the beast bot. I thought that was cool and a great pose.
So good.
Yeah,
good.
That was fantastic. Let me put that up on full screen so people can see. And then the fight starts, and it's a very mediocre fight. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever.
It's like really
what wins the day? Cruz's guns.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting to see is Cruz and his guns. And he's being a little bit bumbling and like, oops, I dropped this. But every shot he makes, he hits somebody.
Yeah, he's
And
boom, boom, boom.
yeah, he's just blasting away. And we cut back to the Rangers kind of doing like whatever. They're just kind of like, they're kind of fighting the way I would, like, oh, make sure you're fighting. So be like, okay, we're fighting, you know, like all right, cut, okay, you know, like fine, whatever. It wasn't about highlighting them, but there was a lot of cool, like, especially after like he shot a few, he started getting into it. He's like, ha ha ha, and then he does like a cool like double shot.
Yeah.
But this, of course, draws the attention of Digitron, as we knew it would. And for a minute, I thought he's going to just suck up Cruz. But then he shoots him, and Cruz drops his guns. And I'm like, oh, is he going to go after the guns? But no, he's still going after Cruz. He just like has to kind of humiliate him and make Cruz have no guns. And Cruz is like, I can't do anything without my guns. Devin, I need help. Now, to his credit, Devin throughout the fight was watching Cruz and did get his back a few times and tell him shoot to the left. He didn't just leave him. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Cruz says, Devin, I need help. Devin says, I'll be right there, buddy. I'm coming. And a couple Tronics knock him back so he can't get there. He's doing the right thing. But then he gets hit by the digitizing beam.
Yeah, that was hard. That was tough, man.
Yeah, he starts disappearing, and they make it really long. There's like a commercial break, and he's like fading away, and he's like, Devin, help me! And Cruz is like kind of like a little kid. You know, he's an innocent, so it's worse than if it was one of the Rangers, because that's more like a soldier, you know. But this is like, I was your buddy, I was helping. Oh, what's happening to me?
I didn't even want to be here today.
Yeah.
Not even supposed to be here.
Right? And then we cut to Devin, and Devin's all like, oh, Cruz, I'm back, and he runs up using his super speed. I'm sorry, he runs up without using his super speed, now that I think about it, just in time to miss.
No, he kind of did.
Well, he uses his super speed as an attack, but he sort of runs as fast as he can, and he's too late. Then he super speeds to attack, but because Digitron has absorbed the Cruz, including the super speed, he just knocks him back. One punch. And it's like, oh. And then he just starts wrecking everybody. He's knocking all the Rangers down.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love it when they kind of get wrecked. It like gives it stakes, and they're not just being goofy, what's going on? And like they can't figure out how to fight.
He just boom,
no,
one punch man's everyone.
Wipes them out. And so then they go back to base. And now there's the other two B spots, and they're all sad, like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Just the two of us, we're supposed to be a trio, and this is a bummer, you know. Yeah. And then, then they're saying, well, he sucks up Tech, and then Steel says, true, if you're after Tech, I'd be the ultimate catch. Now here's the thing, that's a good joke, and he's right, but I was unclear this entire episode if Steel could be absorbed, because he's half human. They say this
Probably
over and over.
Partially.
But does that mean like his armor would disappear and be like a skeleton underneath, or he'd halfway disappear, or is he safe? Like, it was just a little unclear to me. That's happened before. Like, the whole idea is Steel a robot, or is he a cyborg? Like, what, you know, it's not. This episode isn't the problem. That they feel.
Yeah, you wanted a throwaway line from Nate doing blah 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 science jargon.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But so now we cut back to Cyber Evil of Pointy, and they're like, okay, you did a pretty good job there, Scrozzle. Let's see how it goes next. I don't know, that would like kind of nothing happened there except Scrozzle was put in charge when Evox away. That was important to note.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like we saw that last time though.
I guess, but he reiterated it this time that he was definitely in charge, and the other two didn't like it, and that's a important point because later on they kind of sell him out because they don't.
Yeah, I thought in a prior episode he was put in charge because they're like, you guys are theoretically immortal, but you're only immortal if he helps you out. So he gets to be in charge.
I mean, that's how it seemed for sure, but he said that Evox put him in charge, which he may have said before.
That's what I'm saying. Evox putting him in charge because of those reasons.
Okay, when you first said that, I said, oh, maybe, but they just reiterated it. And then you re-explained yourself.
So we're going to argue about agreeing.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're just like saying your things. All right, so basically, they're like, we got to get Cruz back. He's been digitized. And then Devin's like, oh, he got more powerful when he took our B spot in, so we should use our B spots. Everyone's like, whoa, no way. Ravi's like, you're not using Smash. And Zoe's like, we're not putting Jax. And again, sticking up for their B spots, being like, no, this went terribly for you. We're not putting our friends in danger.
Yeah, like, hey, man, just because you lost your B spot doesn't mean I want to lose my B spot.
Right. But he's like, no, that's not what I mean. Is there, and this is a bit of a leap. He's like, is there a way we could like merge with them? Which, okay, again, Power Rangers, fine. And Nate's like, yeah, probably. I'll just doop. I could digitize him. And so he gives him these keys, which look very much like do I have one here? I do have one here. Like the toy keys that come with the Beast Morpher. This is actually Cruz's key. but
Yeah,
much
it's exactly
bigger.
those.
No,
Yeah.
but they're much bigger, and I feel like that might be a Go Busters footage thing. Like maybe that's the prop. Like actually wonder if that's the Go Busters morph, that big key in there. Like I know it's different from what we have, so I wonder if this is a case where their souped up morpher and key is actually just the regular Go Busters prop,
It's
possibly.
not the regular one because I feel like if it was, I would have seen that extra piece at a con or something, and I've never seen that
Mm.
piece before today.
True. Okay. Well, but anyway, they say, okay, we're gonna put them in the keys. I do like how it all like kind of makes the role play items make sense too, though. If you're like
Yeah.
a kid or an adult with the morpher and the keys, you're like, oh yeah, he's really in there. You know,
I
like
actually just opened Marmorpher the other day for the first time.
there you go.
Even though it's been like a year, it's great.
It is great. It's well, so anyway, they digitize them and they're safe and they're in the keys. And then he's like, oh, and here's these Beast X goggles that are or glasses. I'm sorry, Beast X mode visor. It actually says it right on the screen, which actually kind of reminded me of Ultra 7. The way he transforms is
Kinda.
just like a red thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, but they're like, okay, it's not quite as ready. Oh, and they go, and what's going to happen is they're going to put in with you, and then it's going to amplify your beast powers. And then Steel with his one-liner, you could be almost as strong as I am. Oh, that was a bad beast. Steel, you do it. You do it.
Oh, you could almost be as strong as I am.
Better than me,
I
but
don't
we're
know.
both off today.
Yeah. Yours was a 4, mine was a 4.5.
No, I'll give you a 6, and mine was a
Wow.
1.
There you go.
I don't know why, but this next part I really enjoyed, where they're like, okay, we gotta go. Evox is attacking, but the mode isn't ready yet. And Nate's like, let us know the second it's ready, random lab tech. And she says, it'll be in 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That's very precise. Okay.
So pause for a sec.
Yeah.
So this is one of my problems that made it remind me of Neo Saban. For those of you, and I know Gazbot's one of them, who watched Megaforce and Super Megaforce specifically, one trope, also shout out to Atop the Fourth Wall, because
Linkara.
thank you, Linkara. History of Power Rangers goes over this, where like every episode, Gosei gives them a power. He's just like,
Yeah.
hey, power up. Hey,
Yeah.
new Zord. And that's what this felt, is like, hey, Steel's really good, or what you call it?
Digitron.
Cruz is really good at shooting. Hey, while you guys were talking for a minute and a half, I actually made him these cool shield blasters that one-shot Tronics. Here you guys go. Hey, you know what would be kind of a cool idea? Is if this monster that we just found out about, if we reverse the technology and use it for ourselves. Oh, like, yeah, that'll take 10 minutes.
The shield blasters, I
I'm
have
not working on it.
the shield blasters I have zero problem with, because Nate is all the time, him, and it's not just him. He has a whole lab and a whole compound full of people working on this stuff all the time. So the idea that, oh, we're just going to modify some of our blasters to tap into his energy, I have no problem with that. He could whip that up, or that he could tell his assistants and they could whip it up. That's not even a stretch for me.
It was fast though.
But we don't know. Was that a day later, a month later? We don't know. I mean,
It was like the same day.
I don't care. We've seen it before. It's not unique. He's
Okay.
all the time making new guns and swords, and again, he has the resources and he's a genius. So that doesn't bother me. The digitizing thing, yes, is a better point. That this is like rewriting the rules of physics and stuff. Although I guess they've already been digitizing like weapons and things, so the mass of the Beast Bot isn't the problem. It's just the personality. So I guess he found a way.
And
to do
how
that.
you get it to it, all of it shouldn't have taken 10 minutes.
No, but they had a lot of the components already there, and you could argue that he was already studying Digitron. It's a valid point, but it doesn't bother me at all.
Okay, here's where I'm gonna get a Ninja Steel pointed.
Good luck.
One of the points that you and I both agreed on as a positive is that they didn't get everything handed to them throughout up until this point. They literally didn't make the Megazord because of having to configure it and things like that
Right,
for like
yes.
7+ episodes.
Yes.
And the fact that they got this power up within hours of the same episode, I just pulls back all that progress of story building and, like you said, raising the stakes. This was a MacGuffin that they came up with.
Well, that's why I'm calling it a filler
like.
episode. And I don't
Yeah.
even know if we're ever. I guess we'll see Beast X mode again, but if we didn't, it wouldn't shock me. Yeah, we probably will because I know there's figures out of it and stuff. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but again, as a whole, the episode holds together, and it's for a filler episode, it's top tier, I think.
I think it's fine as a filler episode. I'm saying the things that they did in this episode go against things that we have praised them for in the past for how they've built this season out.
Yes, but they also didn't do a lot of the thing. They didn't commit worse sins that they have in the past.
Fair.
And so I'm like, they mostly got it right. If they kind of slipped a little bit on this, I would rather they get a power up without earning it than Devin be a jerk for no reason, for example. You know what I mean? So of the mistakes they're going to make, this is like, I could forgive it, whatever, you know?
Okay. We'll agree to disagree on it.
All right. So now they get out into battle. They smartly pull all their guns out. First thing they do, run in, charging, blasting, but it doesn't matter because he's so powered up, even guns aren't going to stop him.
Yeah, the fact that they're like, ready, aim, and he's like, fire, boom.
Yeah, and he just starts wrecking them. He knocks them all down with his gun, and then like he's just ripping apart Ravi and Zoe. He's just like tearing through them. I love it. Again, I like when there's stakes. So like there is stakes. Like they didn't earn their power up, and it kind of came a little bit conveniently, but they need it. He's just ripping everybody apart for the second time now, and they're all on the floor. Now I guess 7 minutes have passed, and they get their power up.
The one thing, and this is another, like, it's Power Rangers kind of thing, so you just let it go, is, of course, Devin being the Red Ranger has to morph first. But in order to do so, he has to go through this long, drawn-out process of this plan of distracting, ripping Cruz out of the guy, and then morphing when everybody else is like, oh, like, I
no.
right here.
Wait, what was the Ninja Steel point you were supposed to get?
Oh, that they established that their tech takes time to do, and they can't just snap their fingers and have new tech like that.
I mean, again, that's a fair point, but not a Ninja Steel point for me. But I'm going to try to angle to get my own Ninja Steel point right here. Because you're saying, oh, Red Ranger has to morph first, but they go through this whole thing. That wasn't because the Red Ranger has to morph first. That was because Cruz, their friend, is inside Digitron. If Blue and Red transformed and just destroyed him, they might lose Cruz. The most important thing as a Ranger is saving him. Yes.
But
you're not going to give me a Ninja Steel for that?
I think it's all right, but I'm not going to. Same way you didn't give me one, I can't give you one.
No, but I deserve it. I deserve it. You're just doing it out of spite.
Time out. Because this guy is crazy powerful.
Yes.
And I know what they use is probably Sentai footage, which is why it was the way it was.
It definitely was. There was Japanese writing on the asphalt.
There you go. You could switch it where you switch the roles of both pairs of Rangers. You have Yellow and Blue powered up in their new form holding Digitron so that he can't wiggle free and they get Cruz out versus them being the blasters, and Gold and Silver who can't do it because Silver is the Beast Bot of holding. You see what I'm saying? So that's to better ensure the plan, but I get it because Power Rangers and
Sentai.
Ninja Steel.
Regardless, it works. He pulls out Cruz. He morphs. There's this whole sequence of the things flying around him, and then there's like the close-ups of everything. And now he is in Beast X mode, and weirdly Cruz is like ghostly, and it's just like, hey Devin, it's you and me, buddy. And he's like, okay, thanks.
Thanks for getting a part of before we jump into the fight, which I did enjoy, by the way, I was gonna say, obviously they're gonna morph too, but how do you rank this? Because we've talked about battleizers in the past. How would you rank this in the kind of echelon of battleizers?
Low.
Really? How come?
I just think it's boring.
Boring looking or boring powers?
Boring looking. The powers aren't bad, but it's basically, I'm looking at it now. Let me give it a one shot for the people watching at home. It's basically just, they have like shoulder pads that look like they're made out of shiny foam. And I will say this. I like that they're all different. They all look slightly different. I give them credit for that. But it's basically like shoulder pads, and then I guess like bigger wrist gauntlets and boots. It's boring. It looks like if you got a regular figure, you could just snap a few pieces on, and like it's not terrible. It doesn't look ugly, and there are some that I like less, but it's just very not impressive. I forget what his mode is when he does Fury mode, I think, when he was doing Fury mode.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't love that because of the materials involved, but I thought that was a much cooler suit. And it was a similar idea of just basically putting armor on his regular suit, but I thought that worked better. This just looks... It looks like a kid or a fan artist who's like, you know what would be cool? I'm gonna make the Red Ranger even tougher. I'm gonna give him big shoulder pads and like better boots, like, and now he's twice as strong. Like that's what it makes me think of.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Out of the trio battle armors, which do you like better, or battleizer? This or Lightspeed?
Oh, Lightspeed for sure.
I kind of like the sleek design of this. The powers that they get because of this, I don't really like.
I'm the opposite. I like the powers. Well, we'll talk about the powers in a minute, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Lightspeed, I like that they're all different just like this, but I like that they're like, I like the Lightspeed goes so over the top, which is weird because sometimes I complain about that, but it's like a weird sort of, in my mind,
It's
plausible
so,
over the top.
Yeah, it's so goofy that it works.
Yeah, they don't have like a big metal like boat around them or something. It's just like, here's a big crazy cannon, like that's like backpack.
No,
like,
they have like their motorcycles that are big old boat-like things on them.
yeah, I don't know, but I still like it. I don't know.
There's charm. There's charm.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
there's charm to it. All right, so they get into the battle and they just start destroying.
And they
so
become the X-Men.
they become, yes, because well, previously Devin was Quicksilver and now he's become Nightcrawler.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
yeah. He's moving so fast. He's teleporting.
He's just teleporting.
And the effect is even like a red puff. I
Yeah.
think that's cool. It does kind of make him a little overpowered potentially.
Yes, everybody is overpowered right now. Let's just get that out of the way.
Ravi is the only one I have a little bit of a problem with, and I think this might have to do with Go Buster footage and or logic because he's obviously going to become crazy super strong. I have no problem with that. But Devin gets faster. Ravi's like, I'm so strong, I can pull I-beams out of the wall. And
he is a matter reshaper. He rips elements and then reshapes them in a form and then uses them for blunt force trauma.
I wanted him.
No sense.
I wanted him to like smash the wall down and pull it out or something, but that's a little goofy. But I chalked that up to Sentai footage. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it makes no sense in Sentai either. But I feel like there's some. It probably makes more sense there. Maybe I'm being like that. Like I said, I didn't have any real problems with the episode. That's the only thing I maybe had a little bit of a problem with. But not enough to ruin the episode for me.
The beam I had less of a problem with than the finisher.
Me too. The rock. Yeah. But going over to Zoe, she was
telekinesis. She just walks on air.
She walks on air, but if you look, there's little like energy bamps. So I'm like, I guess that's like Beast Morph X like power, just like making little discs under her feet, like kind of like the Invisible Woman could do or something. So
yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun. So like all three of them got these crazy X-Men powers. The only one that bothered me a little bit was Ravi because if he was just so strong, he could pull off half a building, sure. But yeah, the matter reshaping was a little weird. And then what I do like though is at the beginning of the fight, Digitron basically nails them all with this big blue Hadoken looking thing, and they get wasted. And then he does it again, and now they're Beast more. It's kind of reminds me of like Luke, where he's just like in Last Jedi, He's like, oh, that again? Get out of here, Yeah. So I did like that, but then you're right, Ravi, and I don't know why they do it this way.
Concrete, turns it into a ball, and then throws it.
Ripping concrete would be fine. That's not what he
doesn't
does.
rip it. He sucks it out.
Yeah. And it becomes like a big glowing green ball of like Morphex energy, and then he turns it into a boulder and he chucks it. Why couldn't he just rip a big piece of asphalt off of the ground and chuck it? That would make more sense. I don't understand.
Because they're the X-Men now.
Yeah, but even if they're the X-Men, if he was like Colossus, would just pick it up and throw it.
They're the Beast X-Men.
Because Beast is from the X-Men?
Beast X Morpher. Ninja Steel.
No. Don't even try. No.
Oh yes.
I think
we did it.
I think the show lost a Ninja Steel point because of that. Oh boy. Anyway,
subscribers just dipped by 15 from that joke alone.
Oh my gosh. So he nails him with the boulder, and that's not quite the finisher. It sort of like gets him like and more like finish him. He's like, "Rrr."
Dude, his like chambering up like the Flash to like sprint and like that was cool. I'll give him full props.
Yeah,
that was 100% Sentai footage, but it was awesome.
Yeah, Cruz like, you ready, buddy? He's like they're not just technology, they're our friends too. Remember from like season 1 when we used to say that all the time?
And we work together and get ready to get wrecked. Boom!
Yeah. So he makes this tunnel. He does the flash post up, his eyes glow. He blasts through and kind of becomes a cheetah. I wasn't sure if he was like kind of his Zord for a second.
Zord, yeah.
Yeah, and he was made of energy. I don't care. I loved it. It was awesome.
Here's what I think it is.
Yeah.
to your point, sorry. I think from the Sentai footage, they merge with like part of their Zord, which is why he has that logo because it's part of the Zord.
Mhm.
And then because they have that Zord power, he just turned into the cheetah.
I mean,
and
I
then
figured both
wrecked
him and Cruz and the the Megazord, or the Zord, I should say, all have that cheetah essence spirit, so it didn't really bother me. Yeah, that was cool. Nothing about that bothered
Yep.
me. I liked it.
Yep.
And then they power down, and then the Beast Bots are there, like with them. So it was like, oh, cool, we
Oh,
did it. Yeah.
after he final striked, I loved the like last word of like data is invalid.
Oh yeah, that was a good
That
ending.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, speaking of Digitron, let me pull this up so I can find it.
Fun fact.
We got a fun fact from Matt Kendall Clare, who says this is about Digitron. Joel Tobeck did the voice of Digitron, and he also voiced Footzilla and Slob Goblin and Ninja Storm. And he also and he talks a little bit about those episodes, but just to give the credits, he also was a Nylok called Duplicator in the episode where Spike was trying to find a job in Samurai. And he voiced some monsters in Megaforce, including Yuffo, and was the second monster Malcor sent, Admiral Malcor, who I can never remember the name of, who Campbell Cooley does the voice of, but I can never remember Malcor's name for some reason, has sent down, because he looks like Mothra to me, and I always want to call him Admiral
Yeah.
Mothra, and I know that's wrong. Then also voiced Gorgax in Super Megaforce, who's an Armada monster, and yes, I think that's it. But the point is,
Nice.
he is a prolific voice actor. So thank you for that fun fact from Matt Kendall Clare, one of our lovely viewers.
Thank you.
And then getting back to the show,
They go back to the base,
yes.
and you think after everything that's happened, Devin pushed Cruz too early in the field.
Oh, wait. I thought you meant the evil base.
Oh, sorry. We're back at the
Okay.
evil base.
Well, and you think because it's the end of the show and they just defeated the main villain of the week, it's going to be gigantified. Wait, they don't call it that in this. They're going to make it. They're going to make it grow. Wait, they don't do it that way in this.
They're gonna make a Gigatron based on the
Yes.
powers of this.
Yes.
Nope.
But
No Zord
I was
fight.
looking at the time and I'm like, there's only like 3 minutes left of the episode. And I'm like, I kind of hope we don't have a Megazord fight. We don't always have to have a
I
Megazord
was so
fight.
glad we didn't.
And if we had one, it was going to be one of those, Supaita Man ones where he's like, Sword Vigor, one hit, done. And I don't love those. I'd rather not have it at all. So they didn't, and I liked that. So that's what I'm saying. Then, and of course, Evox, this is what I was saying before. Evox is like, because Scrouse was like, oh, Lord, did you enjoy the food? And Evox is like, you failure, get out of my face. And he's like, how did you know I failed? And it's because Blaze and Roxy ratted him out because they didn't like he was put in charge. And Blaze is like, oops. So, Evox then says, and I almost forgot about this, so I'm glad I put it. He's like, well, I have a plan that I need you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Nate, the Gold Ranger. Kind of a throwaway line if you don't pay attention. I'm like, that's going to be a big deal in the next episode or at some point. Like, I thought you were going to say more to that.
Oh, no. He's probably going to try to build him a super robot body and go from there.
I hope not, because that's exactly what he did last time. I'm hoping there's a spin on that. I mean, you're right that he's like the genius, whatever, but I'm hoping there's something different. But now they're back at the base, and you had something to say about this.
So Devin pushed out Cruz to, too early in the field, really tried to utilize him for his marksmanship. So you would think that he would apologize to Cruz for putting him through such a traumatic experience and getting him digitized and almost lost forever by him. But no,
Wait.
Cruz goes, what?
Go ahead. Continue.
Based on everything that happens, you would assume Devin would be the one apologizing to Cruz.
Yeah.
Cruz apologizes to Devin and goes, hey, man, I'm really sorry that I got absorbed by that Digitron. Like, please forgive me.
Yes, because
And then Devin's like, no, why would you apologize? Yes, why would you apologize? Come on!
You're getting worked up for no reason.
He doesn't deserve Cruz. Cruz is too good for Devin.
No,
I'll say it.
Stop. Look, you're right that Devin owes him apology, not the other way around.
Yes.
But why did Cruz apologize? Because Cruz is a super nice guy. Cruz is naive. Cruz is an innocent. And Cruz really is just like, oh, boy, I tried to do my best and I let you down. Sorry, buddy. That is perfectly in character and makes perfect sense. And Devin said, you have nothing to apologize for. I shouldn't have put you in that position. So he absolutely did what you said he should have. He didn't get there first because Cruz happened to speak first, and what he was supposed to go. Cruz goes, "Hey, buddy, shut up, Cruz. I'm sorry." Like, no, we let him
Words
speak.
have no meaning.
Yeah, everything you said makes no sense because Cruz apologized when he shouldn't have, but it fit his character. And then Devin's like, "No, man, it was my fault. I'm sorry. I'm going to learn from this. I wouldn't do that again." And they hug it out. So what are you complaining about?
And he said, "Oh yeah, you're one of my best friends." Really? Because we never see you.
Well, that's a different complaint, but you're deflecting from everything you just said. Is
fine. You could get the point. I was just a little riled up at first.
I would be too if it happened the way you imagined it happened.
I know.
Now,
so keep going.
Okay, so they kind of wrap it up. Everything's happy, and then Smash is like, "Oh, he's back. Let's party!" And he has a party popper that's gigantic. And I don't know if these are real things. They're usually about this big, even in a human hand. So it's big even for him, and it's just confetti everywhere, which is kind of fun. Like I feel like being on set when that confetti exploded must have been really fun. Everyone's laughing, and having a good time. You were gonna say something about what's about to happen next, I imagine.
I was fine with this 100%. Ben and Betty were like, "Hey, we got this. We reprogrammed your little target. Hey, clean all the confetti." Or they say something about
clean up the confetti. Something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines. And he's got these rotating little mops, which don't make any sense for this, but whatever.
That's fine.
So he's going, and then it turns, they're like, why is he kind of coming at us a type of way? It's like, we all have confetti on us.
Yes.
And then they all run and I look at, I'm like, I feel like somebody's not there. And then Cruz, boom, blasts it, obliterates it in one shot, and says something witty,
Lucky
and then
this Beast Bot
with his
still
blaster.
got it. Yeah. This was my absolute favorite Ben and Betty gag.
It was awesome.
It involved the whole team. It made sense. They didn't become cartoons at any point. And I was liking this episode. Like I said, I have very few bad things to say about it. It's all like average good, some parts better than others. When I got to this, I'm like, wow, I hope they don't mess it up by having a stupid Ben and Betty thing. No, it's a good Ben and Betty thing. Oh, this is funny. They're all running away. It's chasing confetti. They're all kind of the fools, not just Ben and Betty. That's great. I really like this. He just blew up. Was it the commander? It was Cruz having a badass hero moment. I love this. I love it. This end is what took it from a B to an A for me. So spoiler alert, I give it an A.
It's not an A for
this
me.
This ending bumped it up a full letter grade, and then they all laugh at the end, but they're not laughing at Ben and Betty. They're laughing at, ha ha ha, Cruz is awesome. We just had a good time. Friendship wins. And we went up from a B to an A.
Mine, I know, I saw that. Mine, after us speaking about it, I do have some problems with it. I voiced those problems.
Yeah.
But after we discussed it further, it took it from a C to a B.
Well, I guess we both went up. But I was an A coming in. I was like what I said. Like when I watched the episode, I was like, this is probably a B, probably a B, probably a B. Got to the end, I'm like, nope, A. And I almost felt like A minus. I'm like, no, because I liked that moment so much. I liked it so much.
There were great moments in this episode. I don't deny that. But some of the things I had bigger problems with, and granted they were using certain Sentai footage, and I get it, was like out of nowhere, Nate's just like, oh, don't worry, I whipped this up with a couple spare sheets of bubble gum and tinfoil, and you have new blasters that also work as shields, and we have these brand new power-up modes, and
the blasters that work as shields, I have zero problem with. Zero. Even after hearing you complain about it. The other stuff, you have a point. I acknowledge that, not an Ninja Steel point, but not enough that it ruined the episode for me, and certainly not enough that it brings the whole thing down to like Neo Saban's like level of average. Like I still think that is a trope of like Megaforce, you're right, but this whole episode was still better, and all the characters' behaviors and personalities interacted in a logical way that friends would, and they made mistakes and they apologized, and it all worked together. It was stuff. Steel had some good one-liners. Cruz had some hero moments. Ben and Betty were funny. The villains did a good job and were competent, and they had a scary villain. Like everything was just working.
I agree. I think in certain areas they backpedaled versus some progress that they established.
In certain areas. Okay, that I can accept if you say in certain areas, but you were...
No, it is a whole. It's not like the end is nigh. Power Rangers is awful. No, it's still good. And like I say, week after week, they've shown us such good stuff that the bar is higher than all of those other seasons that I referred to.
I'm going to give it an A minus. I'm going to give it an A minus. I'm going down to A minus.
You're welcome.
No, but not because of what you said at all. Not because of what you said at all. You have no influence over me whatsoever. Because I realized it was a B, and I loved the ending so much, I bumped it up to an A, and I'm like, that's not 1 grade. That's like 3. Because I went to B, B plus, A minus, A. That's a bit much. So I'll go to A minus. I think A minus is more realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, right?
Yep.
We disagreed a little bit, but not as much as we usually do. You were wrong. I was right. That's fine. And so I guess we will say episode 5 in the bag. Hopefully next week we have episode 6. Hopefully you guys are all having a good time enjoying this season with us, with each other. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments down below. We read all of them. We try to comment on them when we can. If you have a fun fact like Matt Kendall Clare, we will be happy to mention it. And
Feel free.
I think that's it for now. And
To the power.
And I'm gonna
See
press.
you guys later.
Yeah, we'll do that. There's those end credits.
Your silence is pretty good when the words happen.
Oh, you're really forcing it now. Really forcing it.